That's it. You're visible, by the way.
I'm visible now. Okay. So far, what we discussed in the class, let me quickly give a recap of what are the things we have studied so far. Has no one else has joined yet, no? Okay, anyways. So far we did talk about what are the microorganisms. Basically, those organisms that are too small to be seen by our naked eyes. So thereby we will be using a microscope in order to see them, right? So although we cannot see the microorganisms around us, but we are now becoming aware of the presence of microorganisms around us. How do you prove to someone, like, see, there are some microorganisms around us? If someone were to ask you a question like, Arhan, prove to me that there are some microorganisms around me, around us, how do you prove that?
So we could take the sample of the air moisture and we could see it in the microscope that there are some microorganisms present in the air.
Okay, suppose you don't have a microscope, then how you will prove that there are some microorganisms in the environment?
Uh, bread mold. Uh,
Very good, very good. Bread mold. Okay, no. Hmm. Who else has joined, by the way? Yeah, Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so the question was that how you would prove to someone like there are some microorganisms around us. So one obviously is that by seeing that how the food is getting spoiled around us, right? No, so that proves कि funguses की वजह से वो हो रहा है, right? No, and then also we get to see like some of the microorganisms were good for us, some were harmful for us, right? You know that certain bacteria and fungi can make our food become bad, so they are bad for us, while certain bacteria and funguses, viruses can cause disease in humans as well. We discussed these things, and then we talked about major groups of the microorganisms. Those were namely the bacteria, then
so
virus,
fungi,
hmm,
uh, algae,
algae, and
protozoa.
protozoa. Okay, now these were the five groups of the microorganisms which we have. Okay, and then we saw like microorganisms may be unicellular or multicellular as well.
Yes, sir.
They can be unicellular and multicellular as well. For example, if we were to talk about that the bacteria, huh? Bacteria is multicellular or the unicellular?
Unicellular.
Unicellular, right? Now, also you might somewhere bacteria की जगह कई बार आप bacterium भी सुनते होंगे.
Yes, sir.
So you need to know like uh, bacteria is the plural word, while bacterium is the singular. Okay, ना ये singular है. Similarly, virus, the plural will be viruses, right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then talking about protozoa, somewhere you will read protozoan also. कहीं पर आपको protozoan भी लिखा हुआ दिखेगा. So
Yes, sir.
protozoan is basically what? It is singular. If there is just a singular protozoan, then thereby it is simply called as protozoan. While अगर plural है, multiple है, then it is called as protozoa. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
And then somewhere you will heard like algae and alga as also, right? So singular of algae is alga. So ये क्या है? Singular है. So don't get confused in this. Both are same thing. ठीक है ना? Then in the class we did talked about bacteria, and these are the smallest microorganisms which we have. ठीक है ना?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
These are the smallest microorganisms, and they are having just one cell. Right now, Ahmed? So they were
Yes.
unicellular. These are some examples. Huh. These are some examples of bacteria: Spirillum, Bacillus, and Coccus. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Oh, give three examples of bacteria.
So who
Just
will?
now, I. Hmm.
So who
Yes.
will?
Anyone can give the example.
So coccus,
Hmm.
bacillus,
Hmm.
and spiralium.
Okay. Ahmed, you also give three examples of bacteria. Yes,
Yes.
Ahmed. हाँ.
uh,
Think of some examples quickly.
yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeast count as an bacteria?
No, yeast is a fungi.
Oh,
You have examples of lactobacillus, rhizobium, right ना guys? So ये भी
Say
कुछ
E. coli,
examples हैं. E. coli also, हाँ, very good. So we will
salmonella.
count salmonella typhi also. Okay ना? हाँ, so we have examples, common examples basically rhizobium है, and then we have the example of lactobacillus
Yes, sir.
and E. coli as well. Getting it? Then we talked about viruses also. Viruses के बारे में बात की, and these are the smallest microorganisms. Viruses क्या है? सबसे छोटे होते हैं ये, right? And they can develop only inside the cells of the living organisms, like host organisms. हाँ,
Yes,
अच्छा,
sir.
क्या host organism plants भी हो सकते हैं?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can it be a bacteria, Ahmed?
yes. uh,
Viruses दूसरे बैक्टीरिया की बॉडी के अंदर भी सर्वाइव कर सकते हैं. गेटिंग इट नो?
Yes, sir.
Right. So that is the thing. What are some examples of the viruses, by the way? Starting from you, Ahmed. Ahmed, you will name two examples, then Arhan, you will give two examples. Hmm.
um, so the COVID-19, sir.
Very good. And
Polio.
polio virus. Very good. Now you, Arhan.
The influenza virus, Ebola virus.
Influenza virus and Ebola virus. Very good. Let me. Okay, मैं भी कुछ examples देता हूँ. For example, you have HIV,
Yes, sir.
human immunodeficiency virus. क्या full form है,
Hepatitis
Ahmed?
C.
Hepatitis C, hepatitis B. Right now. Okay, what is the full form? HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. ठीक है ना? And this is causing which disease? AIDS, AIDS,
Yes, sir.
acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So इसमें क्या होता है? Basically, the immune system of the person becomes very weak, and ये sexually transmitted disease होता है, right? So
Yes, sir.
someone is having gonorrhea or different type of sexual diseases, so it can transfer to the partner, right now. So that is very a bad disease, and it will basically weaken the immune system of the person who is infected with this virus, जिसे HIV हो जाता है unfortunately. हाँ? So thereby the immune system will become very weak. So even if the person were to catch a small fever, the person will develop severe conditions. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we did talk about protozoa also. Protozoa क्या होते हैं ये? These are also single cells.
Yes, sir.
ये single cells होते हैं, but ये group में रहना पसंद करते हैं. They are found to be living in groups. Getting it now? And protozoa, क्या ये are they plants or animals?
They are animals. They are first animals.
So they are animals. Getting it, guys? Okay, and where they will be found? They will be found in like dirty waters,
Yes, sir.
in lakes, in a drain, right now. Sea water में भी हो सकते हैं, dam soil में भी, गीली मिट्टी, right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what are some examples? Most common example is the amoeba.
Yes, sir.
Okay, remember the name. I will be asking the names any moment. Paramecium, okay, Ahmed? Plasmodium. और ये क्या करता है? It causes malaria in human body, right?
Yes.
ओके ना, इसके अलावा कुछ और भी डिजीजेस काउज करते हैं ये प्रोटोजोआ. फॉर एग्जांपल डायसेंट्री. हैव यू हर्ड ऑफ द नेम डायसेंट्री? एक डिजीज है which is caused by protozoa.
Amoeba.
Exactly, dysentery that is caused by amoeba. So amoeba
Yes,
is
sir.
also an example of protozoa. Getting it now? Okay ना, amoeba नहीं है exactly, वो एंटी amoeba है. Okay ना, अहमद अरहान? enter amoeba. That is the name of the protozoa causing this disease. Many times students confuse करते हैं amoeba को bacteria से, but be careful, it is a protozoa. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now talking about uh, okay, before I move on, give some examples of protozoa which we just discussed. Starting from you, Ahmed. Hello. Give some examples of protozoa. Okay, Arhan, you also have to give some examples.
Say Plasmodium and Paramecium.
Very good, very good. Okay, now Ahmed. Ahmed, answer this thing. कि protozoa क्या single cells होते हैं? Do they have single cell in their body? Yeah. Okay. First of all, will both of you turn your cameras on? Both of you turn your cameras on in the class.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
I'm
is
waiting.
Euglena a protozoa?
Euglena.
Yes, sir.
Euglena is a protozoa. Euglena. Okay, let me think about it. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, ना Euglena is considered between plants and animals. उसे plants और animals के बीच के group में हम रखते हैं. Okay ना? Euglena, let me think about it. Ahmed, remember the name of it. Do tell me two examples of protozoa quickly. The one very common one is a एक तो बहुत ही common है amoeba ना, huh? Right, Arhan? Amoeba is a very common example of it.
Yes, sir.
Getting it now? Okay, what are some other examples apart from amoeba? Just थोड़ी देर पहले हमने भी देखा कि we have examples of some other protozoa also. For example, you have enta-amoeba, see, which is known to cause dysentery.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no? So these were some examples of it. So do remember that. ये बहुत important है. Then talking about algae, algae के बारे में भी हमने बात की. These are also plant like organisms. ये plant की category में से हमने consider किया था algae को,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay, now Spirogyra and Chlamydomonas are some examples of it. Spirogyra कुछ, this diagram here is the example of, is the diagram of Spirogyra. Chlamydomonas कुछ इस तरह हमें देखने को मिलता है. Okay ना? So algae can they make their own food? Yes, guys, can algae, which are simple plant like organisms, will they be able to prepare their own food?
Yes, sir.
Why? Because they have chlorophyll in them. Exactly. Right now. However, ये plants are different किस manner में होंगे? How algae are different from the plants? In plants, you have roots, no? Leaves होते हैं plants में.
Yes.
Getting it, no? They will be having proper roots. Yeah, Ahmed. They will be having proper shoot and root system, but algae के पास ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है. Right? Okay. So these are some examples. Apart from this, you have blue-green algae also. Blue-green algae also, which is also called as
Cyanobacteria.
cyanobacteria. Very good. Cyanobacteria, right? And they have the ability to fix oxygen into soil, right? Or am I wrong?
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen, exactly. Okay. We did talk about fungus also. These are also a large group of organisms which do not have the which cannot prepare their own food, right now, and they don't have any chlorophyll in them. So thereby they are what in nature? Are they saprophytic in nature? Or,
Parasitic.
are they parasitic?
Yes, sir.
Mhm. Funguses are not all funguses are parasitic. Okay, no? They are classified as saprophytic as well. So we have the common examples of yeast, bread mold, penicillium, aspergillus, right now. And bread mold को हम We also call bread mold as rhizopus. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
All right, no? It is also called as rhizopus. So quickly give examples of the fungi which we just discussed, starting from you, Arhan.
So, rust and yeast.
Hmm.
Uh,
Rust,
so
rust
yeast.
what?
Uh,
Okay,
uh,
wheat rust. It's a disease now. Wheat rust तो disease का नाम होता
yes, sir.
है.
Mushrooms and molds.
Mushrooms and molds. Okay, Ahmed, give some examples of fungi. Hello. Okay, now Arhan, think of where, in what kind of environments you can find microorganisms.
So all kind of environments.
Hmm. Like, for example, Ahmed, am I not audible to you? Please do let me know. Hello, Ahmed. Okay, anyways. So they can be found in the frozen lake also. हाँ, in fact, मैंने पिछली क्लास में बताया था कि there was a lake that is found in Antarctica. Almost it was found like several miles below the frozen ice. इसे हम लेक वॉस्टॉक कहते हैं. लेक वॉस्टॉक. ओके ना. सो एंड इट वाज डिस्कवर्ड इन 1990s के वक्त में के एरा में इसे डिस्कवर किया गया था. And this is several meter down, almost 900 meter k around what I know of. I think it was somewhere around 900 meter deep in the Antarctica. It is found. So basically, 900 meter thick layer है ice की, and beneath that this lake is found right now. And when a sample was taken from this now, so thereby some life forms was discovered in it, but this was different from the life forms which we know on earth. जो life forms के बारे में हमें information है right now on earth, so life forms found on this was different from it. So obviously, since this lake hasn't been exposed to the world for millions of years, so thereby the life forms found in this lake was different. So we can see that even in the extreme conditions, microorganisms can be found to be living. Okay, now,
Yes, sir.
right? So they can be found in different. In fact, saline water में भी वो पाए जाते हैं. They can be found in hot springs also. Like nearby the volcanoes many times. Okay, now, or for example, when the water is coming out on the surface of the earth, that is, इसे हम water spring कहते हैं. In geography, you must have studied about water springs. So कुछ hot water springs होते हैं. हाँ, why they are hot? Because वो जब अर्थ की सरफेस के ऊपर आ रहे हैं, so thereby somewhere along its path they come in contact with lava. So वो बहुत ही hot होता है water. Getting it? ना? So there also some microorganisms are known to be living. Okay ना? And Euglena, as you हाँ, Euglena ना, Arhan, what I know of Euglena, we know that it is neither considered as plant or neither as animal. ठीक है, बट वो प्रोटोजोआ की कैटेगरी में, एज आई कैन रिकॉल, इट इज कंसिडर इन द ग्रुप ऑफ प्रोटोजोआ. ओके ना.
Yes, sir.
So Euglena is an example of protozoa. Okay, right. Okay, so we did talked about all these things, and then later on we did talked in the chapter about the usefulness of the microorganisms which we have. So to sum up, what are the things we studied? We did talked about, okay, we can use the microorganisms to make curd, right, Ahmed?
Yes,
We
sir.
can make them to make bread now, right? So bread में हम yeast powder, you will be using the yeast powder in the baking industry to make bread. So when yeast is mixed in dough now, when yeast is mixed with the dough, so thereby क्या होता है? The yeast will start to reproduce, वो multiply करना शुरू करता है, and then thereby in during that process it will be doing respiration also.
Yes, sir.
So वो reproduction भी करता है, and thereby it does respiration as well, respiration as well. So in this process it will be releasing carbon dioxide. So while carbon dioxide is released, it fills the empty spaces in the dough. and thereby increases its volume. So due to that, it will be used in that process. Also, we would be using this at a commercial scale also. Microorganisms commercial scale पे भी use करते हैं. Yeast is also used at a commercial scale, both in manufacturing of bread and alcohol also.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that process was called as fermentation. No. So thereby you had the yeast powder. Look at this image over here. Yeah. So you have added some yeast powder to sugar. Right now, basically ये fruits हमने लिया है यहाँ पर. Okay, so thereby in fact in absence of oxygen, it will be doing respiration. That is called as anaerobic respiration, and thereby carbon dioxide along with alcohol will be formed. Getting it or not? This thing is very important. Do remember that. Okay, and also the process of conversion of sugar into alcohol was discovered by whom? Any
Louis
idea? Louis Pasteur. Almost it was in the same year when the Battle of Plassey took here in India.
1798.
No, Battle of Plassey didn't happen in 1798. 1798 में smallpox डिस्कवर किया, smallpox के लिए वैक्सीन डिस्कवर किया था एडवर्ड जेनर ने. So 1857 की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. Okay, no? It was Louis Pasteur. Getting it, Ahmed and Arhan?
Yes, sir.
So in order to make alcohol, yeast will be added on the natural sugars that are coming from the fruit. So thereby, it will produce carbon dioxide and alcohol. So hope that is clear. Okay, no?
Yes.
So laboratory में भी इसे हम perform कर सकते हैं. हाँ? So what you can do ना in laboratory, you can just take 500 ml beaker. 500 ml का beaker आप लेंगे. Okay, then you will fill 75% of it with water. आपने इसे 75% water से fill किया है, and then you will be adding 2 spoons of salt in it, right? या फिर sugar add करना चाहिए. We will be adding sugar in it. So Ahmed and Arhan, you will be adding 2 spoons of sugar in it, and then add some yeast powder in it. ठीक है? Now cover this beaker. अपने इसे आपने क्या करना है? Cover करना है. So then cover the beaker and allow the mixture of the sugar and yeast powder to rest in a warm place. एक warm place पे आपने इसे let's say कि 4 to 5 hours के लिए आपने इसे undisturbed किया है. Now after 4 to 5 hours, smell the solution. So we will get a characteristic pleasant smell coming out of it. Okay, and that smell is the smell of alcohol, right? Now, so thereby it can be seen. Okay, now also if for the sake of testing it, okay, now, if someone who drinks the alcohol, so thereby it will be giving a very burning taste, right? Now, all right, now although there are so many harmful effects of the alcohol right now, so thereby I think that the manufacturing of it should be not promoted.
The
Getting it
burning
now?
taste is due to the carbon dioxide.
Exactly, due to the carbon dioxide also, and also due to the composition of it. Okay, now now you guys know about vinegar or not?
Yes, sir.
Vinegar or the sirka?
Yes, sir.
So you guys know about के sirka basically क्या होता है? It is an acid now, और वो dilute acid होता है. Yes, Ahmed? It's a dilute acid, or that acid is basically acetic acid होता है वो.
Yes, sir.
Do remember the name. Okay, now. So how we can make sirka, that is vinegar, हम कैसे manufacture कर सकते हैं? See, so basically what we can do ना, कि हम क्या करेंगे ना कि on a large scale पहले alcohol बनाया जाता है, right? कि आपने fermentation करके you have made alcohol. Okay ना, Ahmed and Rahan? So हमें alcohol मिल चुका है. Now we will be adding a bacteria in it, जिसे हम acetobacter कहते हैं. Acetobacter. So when it will be added into alcohol, thereby it will start to release air bubbles. अब air bubbles निकलेंगे इससे. Alcohol. You've added some aceto bacter in it. So thereby it will form some air bubbles,
Yes, sir.
right? So here basically what is happening, the AC, the acetobacter in the presence of oxygen, that is it will be taking oxygen from the air, it is basically converting the alcohol into acetic acid. Getting it or not? Okay, no? Acetic acid, that is simply vinegar. Further इसमें हमने कुछ और water add करके इसे हम dilute कर सकते हैं. Getting this thing now, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So then later on, we also talked about one more thing, Ahmed. Like there are some medicinal use of microorganisms also. You must have heard of some of the common antibiotics like um आपने you must have heard of like penicillin. हाँ, streptomycin के बारे में आपने सुना होगा, erythromycin और tetracycline. So what are these? These are basically antibiotics. Okay, na?
Yes.
But nowadays antibiotics can be made synthetically also. अब इसे हम synthetically भी बना सकते हैं. Okay, na? So earlier what was being done? So basically you take a weaker you take a weaker version of microorganisms. ठीक है ना? So basically क्या होता है, in laboratories weaker versions of microorganisms were grown. उसे हम grow करते थे. ठीक है? But these days large number of antibiotics are being made synthetically also, right? Also अगर हम बात करते हैं what type of microorganisms were earlier grown in order to make antibiotics, so namely it was bacteria and fungi. Okay, again, Ahmed, will I be using viruses to make antibiotics? Hello?
Yes, I.
Mhm. No, we won't be using viruses. Okay, no?
Say we use viruses in making of vaccines.
There also we use a very weaker version of virus. Okay, now just to mimic that disease into a healthy person so that it develops antibodies against that. Okay, no? Okay. Then, which was the first antibiotic which was discovered by chance? Ye, bus, it was discovered by chance. The person had no intention of discovering it. Yeah, who will tell me this? Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Penicillin, how was it discovered? Any idea? Okay, first of all, do tell me the name of the person who discovered it.
S-
Yes.
uh, sir, I remember it. It's Alexander Fleming.
Alexander Fleming. Very good. Very good. Okay, now. So basically, what happened? Okay, penicillin, penicillium, you guys know it is a fungi. ये fungi है ना? Yes,
Yes.
Ahmed. Okay, so basically, in the year 1928, so almost 100 years ago, इसकी discovery हुई थी, less than 100 years to be exact. So he discovered it when he had some bacteria. इसके पास क्या था ना, एक plate है, and on that plate there was a bacteria that was growing. Okay, na? And the exact name, if I remember correctly, the name of the bacteria was Staphylococcus. Staphylococcus bacteria was growing on a plate, right? So, but then what happened now? What happened after some time? He observed that a strange fungus grew over it now, and that fungus was actually killing the Staphylococcus bacteria. So thereby he discovered this in this manner. All right now. So that is the small story behind it. Now further continuing, what else we did talked about? What are some other beneficial uses of microorganisms? Apart from antibiotics, we know about vaccines also, right? So
Yes.
vaccines are also made. Uh, these are also made using microorganisms, especially the viruses. So it will be given to the healthy person so that they may not get certain type of diseases in in the future, right now. So thereby they will be introduced in their body, you will be introducing weaker versions of pathogens. ओके ना, उस डिजीज के पैथोजेंस को आप इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं. पैथोजेंस आर व्हाट बाय द वे?
So disease causing microbes.
Disease causing microbes are called as pathogens. Very good. So what does a vaccine basically consist of?
Pathogens.
Consist Pathogens are basically the dead or weakened microorganisms of that disease, right now. So for example, if COVID-19 vaccine is given, so thereby co-vaccine, for example, will consist of weaker, okay, version of the virus, right now. So it can be given orally or by injection also. Okay, na? Now, when the body will be responding against that pathogens, thereby it will produce antibodies in the blood. Blood में वो antibodies की formation करता है. Thereby, the antibodies will kill any live disease causing microorganism present in the vaccine. So, for example, कि vaccine जो अपने body में दिया है, so thereby that will trigger the development of antibodies in the blood, right?
Yes.
Next, so next what will happen? Now your body has developed antibodies. So that antibody will kill any alive disease causing microorganism if it will be present in the vaccine. Hope you guys are getting it. Even vaccines may be, अगर for example कोई alive microorganism है, alive viruses है for example, so वो antibodies उसे kill करेगा. Getting it now?
It will also remember how to fight that microorganism again.
Exactly. When the person will be exposed to that same disease the next time, now the body will remember that microorganism and will fight it better next time. So hence, it is actually helping to develop the immunity from the given disease. Getting it, Ahmed and Arhan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay then. So for what type of diseases can be prevented by the help of vaccines?
So
Vaccines. Very good.
malaria.
Chicken pox. Malaria, yeah, chicken pox hai, like we have examples of malaria also, yeah,
Yes, sir.
chicken pox, malaria, and like have a look at these images over here. See, cholera. Okay, now cholera can be prevented with the help of vaccines. Typhoid, right now, hepatitis B can be prevented by the help of vaccines. Okay, now, or like tetanus, you must have heard of it. Tetanus.
Yes, sir.
Tetanus, rabies, right now. Rabies में क्या होता है? Person is having difficulty in drinking water.
Yes, sir.
Basically, rabies virus कुछ animals के काटने से होता है. For example, it can be caused by a bite from dog and from rabbit also.
They
Okay,
caught cat also.
it can be cat also. Good. Okay, now so make sure that if someone is domesticating an animal, it should be given the rabies vaccine. Okay, na? Okay, and I also told give vaccine. The first vaccine for smallpox was discovered by Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner in the year 1798, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you know, like earlier, polio was also very much prevalent here in India, particularly. ठीक है ना? So thereby, government health centers were established in different parts of India, and advertisements were run on TV and newspapers to protect the children from the polio. ठीक है ना? So thereby, government was uh, very concerned over this thing, and thereby children up to the age of 4 to 5 were given polio vaccines. Getting it now? Okay, and then we saw okay, microorganisms will help in increasing the soil fertility also. How? Because we know that plant requires nitrogen, and that nitrogen has to be fixed with the help of certain microorganisms. For example, you have the example of um, rhizobium bacteria, right? These are present in the root nodules of peas, beans, etc.
Leguminous plants.
In the leguminous plants, basically peas or beans or lentils, इन्हें हम leguminous plant कहते हैं. Getting it now, Ahmed?
So can
Okay.
infants get vaccinated?
Can?
Infants get vaccinated?
No, it's not generally recommended to give vaccines to an infant kid. Okay, no? Because at that time the body might, instead of fighting from the weaker version of microbes present in the vaccine, it might in fact get damaged. Right now, अगर एक healthy person को हम देते हैं, so the body will fight against the weaker version, but a infant baby will not be able to fight with it. So a special type of vaccines have to be made for them. Okay, now. And the last thing we did talked about microorganisms also helps in cleaning the environment, right? So some microorganisms will be decomposing the harmful and smelly dead remains of plants and animals, right? So they are helping in that manner also. So वो उसे harmless अब बना रहे हैं. So hence it is cleaning the environment. Okay. Now let's to talk about disease causing microorganisms in humans. Yeah. So disease causing organisms basically जिसे हम pathogens कहते हैं. Those are basically called as pathogens. Disease causing microbes in humans. अभी हम सिर्फ humans की बात करें. So it can enter to your body via different pathways. It can enter your body via the air you are breathing, via the water you are drinking, or via the food we are eating. So different type of bacteria will enter to your body via different means. Getting it, no? Or for example, some microbes can enter your body with direct contact with an infected person. Okay, no?
Yes, sir.
So a person who has disease causing microorganisms or the microbes in his body, उसे हम infected person कहते हैं, right? So from an infected person, the disease carriers will enter the body of a healthy person. Okay. अब यहाँ पर दो तरह के disease होंगे. Okay ना? First type will be communicable disease.
Yes, sir.
Second one will be non-communicable. Non-communicable disease. Like if if someone were to come in contact with the infected person and if he or she does not get the disease, so thereby most probably it's a non-communicable disease. For example, cancer. For example, brain hemorrhage. Right now. So these are some of the examples. For example, some diseases like, see, which examples here मैं बात करते हैं. For example, most common one is the common cold. If someone were to sneeze nearby you, most probably the same day or the next day you might also catch the cold. Okay, na Ahmed and Arhan.
Yes, sir.
So that is another thing. Ahmed, you getting these things or not?
So is common cold caused by a virus?
It is caused by a virus. Exactly. It is caused by a virus. So कुछ examples हमारे पास like common cold है. Then cholera.
Sir, polio?
Cholera. No, polio is not communicable. No, not polio. Apart from cholera, you have example of chicken pox. Chicken pox है. Tuberculosis भी है. All right, no? Tuberculosis, in short called as capital T, capital B, TB. Then malaria, and then AIDS. So ये कुछ examples है communicable diseases के. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
And then you have some examples of non-communicable diseases also. For example, like cancer, right? For example, it could be apart from cancer. What are some other examples of non-communicable disease? Think
Sir,
of some
lung cancer.
examples. कैंसर में हम काउंट कर सकते हैं उसे, basically all type of cancers. Okay, no. What are some other examples? Yeah, Ahmed.
Sir, polio,
Polio could. Hmm.
smallpox.
Smallpox is also called in communicable disease. Okay, ना हाँ. So polio, and polio basically क्या होता है? It makes the person handicapped, right? No, it makes the person handicapped. That's what the polio virus does. Usually, the limbs, the lower limbs, basically the lower limbs, that becomes that is not able to function, right? No. So कुछ ऐसे examples हमारे पास non-communicable diseases के. Then there will be a medium by which it will be transmitted, and then there will be some carriers also, right? So medium, right now our focus is about communicable diseases. So what could be the medium? Via water, air, or the food that you are eating. All right now.
Yes, sir.
Huh. So for example, if you were to talk about common cold is spread by breathing air that consists of certain kind of microorganisms. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And the common cold is caused by, you all know, it's a virus. So if someone were to sneeze, right, and the next person were to inhale that air containing that virus, then the person will also be infected, right? Then what are some other examples? Like if you were to eat infected food आपने consume किया या फिर infected water, so thereby also you can get the disease, right? Now, so spread of disease can be by drinking infected water and food, consuming infected food, or if someone were to like mosquito bites also, right? That can cause dengue and malaria, right? Or for example, let's say कि कुछ doctors, for example, some doctors were to reuse the injection needles, huh? So thereby the disease will be transmitted from the infected person to the healthy person. Okay, now. Injection needles, or for example, razor blades also, no, right now, Ahmed? Razor blades also. If someone were to use a razor blade and the person is infected with something, so thereby it might transfer. Or if someone were to share a towel with an infected person, right? Or clothes, right? Or bed sheet, basically, right now, or utensils, etc. So these are some of the ways. And then there are some of the communicable diseases, like these are called as sexually transmitted disease, in short STDs. Okay, na? So for example, क्या है? Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, that is AIDS, right? And apart from having sexual contact with the infected person, it can also be transferred if injection needles, okay, na, and razor blades were to be shared with the infected person. Getting it now? What I'm trying to say?
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
So if infected injection needles were to be used by a healthy person, which has an which has been earlier used by a person infected with AIDS, I mean to say with HIV virus, so thereby it can be transmitted. So basically, यहाँ पे blood contact में आना चाहिए. Getting it now? Like a person is suffering from AIDS, and if someone were to use the same towel used by this person, so that will not be transmitted.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, बेसिकली ब्लड में ट्रांसमिशन होना चाहिए कि सो सपोज समवन यूजेस अ रेजर ब्लेड एंड एक कट लग जाता है, there's a cut, so thereby blood will ooze out from that part of the body, and hence the virus will go into the blood. So hope that clears it out. And there are some ways to prevent the communicable disease. You guys tell me some of the ways. How do we prevent the spread of communicable disease?
So we should maintain a distance from the infected person.
Hmm. Good. What else?
We should regularly wash our hands.
Hmm. Okay. You should regularly wash our hands. Good. Or if say there's a infected patient, एक patient है, so that patient should be kept in isolation, right? ना? For example, tuberculosis से person suffer कर रहा है, right? And ये bacteria से होता है, okay ना? So thereby we know कि वो air से transmit होगा. If the
Yes, sir.
person were to cough and sneeze, so thereby that will transmit into the air, getting it air. So the person should be kept in complete isolation. For example, chickenpox, which is caused by a virus. So if someone were to shake hands with a person suffering from chickenpox, so most probably the healthy person is going to be getting infected, right? Air से भी वो transmit होता है chickenpox, right? ना? So basically, that person should also be isolated, and that person, so belongings, personal belongings of that patient should be kept away from others. ठीक है ना? Like the clothes or the accessories used by that person should be kept away. Okay, for example, polio की अगर बात करते हैं, how do we prevent? What is the preventive measure for polio? Hello. What are the preventive measures for polio?
Uh, so we should. Sir, I
Yes,
don't.
वैक्सीनेशन होना चाहिए प्रॉपर टाइम पर. बेसिकली एक केयर तो ये है ना कि वैक्सीनेशन होना चाहिए. ओके ना? एंड पोलियो, यू गाइस नो अबाउट पोलियो, लाइक इज इट ट्रांसमिटेबल? क्या वो ट्रांसमिट हो सकता है?
No, sir.
No. So although it cannot be transmitted from one infected person to healthy person, but for the cure of the infected person, उसे suitable एज पे वैक्सीन देने चाहिए. और इनफैक्ट के वो इन फ्यूचर, राइट, इन फ्यूचर पोलियो वायरस से पोलियो ना हो, so thereby the person should be given vaccination at the suitable age. You guys know who was the discoverer of polio? It was first used in the year 1955. Okay, na? And the person's name was Dr. Jonas. Dr. Jonas was the person who discovered polio vaccine. So hope that is clear. So if there's any question so far, please do let me know.
No, sir.
Hmm.
So is the
Let
chapter finished?
No, not yet. Not yet. I was thinking that today we will be able to finish the chapter, but there are so many topics left to be discussed. ठीक है ना? हाँ, so many things are left to be discussed. Like uh, next, apart from humans, हम बात करेंगे like remember when we were doing this chapter, I showed you some images of cattle getting infected with virus.
Anthrax disease.
Anthrax होता है, हाँ, वो भी होता है. And then you might have seen कि I showed you like they were getting blisters on feet and mouth. Cattle's के mouth and feet में blisters develop हो रहे थे,
Yes, sir.
right now. So those things are left to be discussed.
So nitrogen.
Cold. Nitrogen cycle is also left very good. Uh, then we will be talking about like you might have seen कि in the okra plant, that is भिंडी, उसमें भी एक disease होता है ना, like the yellow vein mosaic.
Yes, sir.
So
Wheat
those
rust.
things, wheat is very good. Then later on we'll be talking about food poisoning also, right now. Okay, so those things have to be discussed, and the most important, preservation of food. Huh? There were several measures in order to preserve the food. Like we have deep freezing method है हमारे पास. Huh?
Yes, sir.
We can add. Normally, you would see like your mom while she's making the pickles, she would be adding mustard oil in it. She would be adding vinegar in it, salt in it, right? No. So addition of salt, addition of sugar can prevent the food from spoiling. Okay, so those things are left to discuss. And remember, when the chapter will be finished, there will be a small test from the chapter. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's it for today. Allah Hafiz then.
Laugh, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, Santosh, good evening. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm also good, Alhamdulillah. Okay, so today you guys are going to have a small test. I dropped a message in the group. So
Yes, sir.
from the chapter nutrition and plants, there's going to be a small test, and the test,
So,
yeah.
you're going to take us the MCQs or different subjects, like how you're gonna take this test?
Look, the questions are MCQ based, and there is some subjective question in it also. Okay, now. Hmm.
Good evening, sir.
Yo, Chakrika, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm also good. So, in the previous class, you two guys were present. Now, Vaiga was absent and Tehsin was also absent.
Vaiga,
So,
sir, Vaiga was present, but she left early.
oh, in the later part, she left. Okay, no? So, hope you guys have revised the chapter.